Hello, everybody out there in Twitch land. The time on the clock reads 10:30. It is Tuesday. That means it's time to look at some Dungeons and Dragons, getting ready for our game using Fantasy Grounds. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, but more importantly, come and join me. Tuesdays, I do Dungeons and Dragons on Fantasy Grounds, using Fantasy Grounds, and Wednesdays, we do Starfinder. And then we actually play the game Sunday nights at 5:30 to 8, a couple hours. All of these times are Pacific time. So add 3 hours if you're over on the left coast, I mean the right coast, east. All right, so today we're going to be looking at a couple different things I need to get done for my game. One of which is find my notes that tells me what I need to do. But while I'm looking for that, I do know that one of the things I'm going to be doing is making a magic item. Here we go. See my handcrafted, well-written notes there. So one of my players, we use an optional rule called character talents, and it's similar to the feats in like Starfinder or Pathfinder. They're just smaller versions of the 5e feats, but they're called character talents. So I need to write in the code for that. My game was, when I first originally started, was called a back to the basics game, meaning all the characters, all the classes, all the spells, everything is only from the player's handbook. We did nothing. That was the guideline that I had, was pure PHB for character creation and leveling up and such. They're now 8 and 9, depending on the individual player. So I have 3 9s, 2 8s, and it's been going really well now. But we have added, of course, most of the monsters have been unique. A couple veteran players, especially one of which, who knows, got a mind for D&D, and knows stats and things in his head all the time, and is not afraid to look them up. So I have a lot of unique monsters from obscure tomes that I found. But regardless, the character talents is one of the things I've added as well. Um, I also use some extensions um, that I went kicking and screaming into the extension land because I did not, in my opinion, if Fantasy Grounds or anything works, why mess with it? If it's not broken, don't fix it. But I went ahead and slowly but surely added modules, added extensions to my game. And so I was finally able. So one of them that I have, probably one of the best ones I have, is the for druids, and it's called Critically Awesome Essentials. And it started off as one-click druid, and it's now Critically Awesome Essentials. Awesome Essentials. And what it does is when a druid changes into a animal form, it replaces all the stats that need to be replaced. It does not replace the ones that don't. It replaces the token, including the proper size of the token on the map, and it tracks hit points. So say your druid has 50 hit points, she changes into a bear with 35 hit points. She then proceeds to take 40 points of damage. The way D&D works is the bear would die at 35 with 5 extra hit points left. And so those 5 extra will go back to the player, the same hit points they had before they wild shaped. Well, with this extension, it does that. So she's the bear, she takes 40 points of damage, the token reverts back to her token, all of her stats revert back, and she has 5 points of damage now. She's at 45 hit points because that's the way it's supposed to work. All done automatically. It is phenomenal. Also works with polymorph spell, disguise kits, things like that. You can change, click a button and change, make your own tokens, exchanges and stuff. So I say all that to say, I use these weird monsters as I mentioned. So one of the weird monsters is called a Chag beetle, and they then spent an hour short resting close by a herd of these things. So she, as a druid, can now shape change into this Chag beetle, but I don't have the stats, the token, I don't have any of that made. So I'm going to do that for her because she is, if you look at the experience, as a moon druid, she can do 1/3 of her level in challenge rating. So she is just a smidge less than 8th level, or 9th level, I should say. And I'm going to go ahead and hook them up, by the way. Go ahead and give them a couple. Boof. Boof. They are behind just by a little bit, so I want to get them a little bit more close to the rest of the party. I don't want hurt feelings or things like that. All right, so there we go. All right, so I'm going to be doing that, and then I have a couple different items to make. These are pretty simple, basic wine that they purchased, and then I also have to code a clockwork amulet. So they found a clockwork amulet that allows her to once a day take any roll that she would make on a 20-sider that's not in combat, and actually might even be in combat, I don't remember, but just make that roll a flat 10. She clicks the amulet, that roll is now a 10, and but I don't have a way of tracking have you used that yet. So we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and start with that one first. Open up our PCs. Genesis is the one that has that. Go to her actions page. Let's see what she has. This is under her items. I'm going to shrink some of these down because we have a lot. She is a bard cleric multi-class. So she has a lot of cleric powers, bard powers, cleric spells, bard spells, magic items, actions, potions. So here we go. Okay, so it is not in her potions and items. So what we will do then is we right click, create an item. It is called the Clockwork Amulet. We will then drag it down to here. Dragging it down makes a copy of it and throws it under with the right designation that we want. Then you see there's nothing else there. I like to have details. I like to explain so that she doesn't have to go find it. So we'll open up her inventory. The hardest part is finding this Clockwork Amulet. She, like most of my characters, is a hoarder. So she has a lot of stuff. Um, I just need to find it. Clockwork amulet. Click. Okay. So this would actually be on her armor. Wouldn't be on her neck, but okay. This copper amulet. Okay, so we're going to take this. If you don't unlock it, it won't let you click and drag. So you unlock the item. And I'm just going to take all of this, copy it. So the rest of it is just talking about Acme amulets and what they do. So talking about it being a holy symbol and things like that. Not necessary. For what we're doing, it just doesn't matter. There we go. So when you copy and paste this type of thing, it does add an extra line in between paragraphs. There you go. So that's gone. That's gone. We can hit Control 2, and that will change the what type of paragraph that is. So Control 1 is regular text, 2 is a section heading, 3 is a speech bubble, and 4 is a table. You can just click within that paragraph, and it will anywhere within it, and it will do that. It will change the whole paragraph into the by hitting Control and pressing the number. All right. So we've got the description that we want. And you can see in the description it says, once used, this property can't be used again until the next dawn. So right-click on the amulet itself. We're going to add, actually, no, we don't need to add an action, sorry. What we're going to do is go to Standard, Preparation, the mode, change it to Preparation. You see here it says daily. We're going to change the 0 to a 1 daily. And that's all there is to it. It now has a click mark. She did use it, so it's gone. We'll put it back to standard. So it's clicked. If she's in combat mode, then she can't use it, so it's gone. It does not show in combat mode. So that's all there is to that. I don't foresee another one showing up or being used in this campaign, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. I might change it later. What you can do, what I'm waffling about is I can make it, what I just did is add the coding to the actions page. So I can then save it as a spell, which then allows me to drag that same coding I just did to any other player onto their actions page. And so if you look in my spells, you'll see that I have, if I type item, I have a ton of items because this is the coding for that item. And I just drag it on and boom, it's good to go. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. I don't see it coming up anymore. So my clockwork amulet is finished. Cross that off my list. So now I have wine. I'm going to change it up a little bit and do the Tusk's talent, as I mentioned. Let's see. So we're going to go to Tusk. Another multi-classer. Fighter Barbarian. Definitely min-maxed. He's the atypical as far as how his combat is. Atypical. Sees monster, rages, great weapon master, reckless, all those things, does tons of damage, can tank. Nothing surprising at all. If he needs to, he does action surge. He can second wind because of his fighter abilities and things. He's a champion fighter, so he gets crits on 19s and 20s. So very traditional. It's been done 1,000 times. Having said that, though, the way the player plays the character, is not typical. He does a really good job of maintaining that half orc-ish nature, a half orc nature, but he also is has an intelligence of 10, so he's not really stupid. He's of average intelligence. Um, he actually plays him higher than that. He has a high wisdom, um, but because the player is much higher intelligence, so it's hard for him to dumb it down. Um, but he does have some internal struggles at times. He'll talk to um, the players, and he's gotten to where now at level 9, he's not just killing everything. He'll does listen to some of the other players and things, because the other players are the opposite. They don't want to kill anything. If it's um, possible, especially if they can make it their pet, then they sure as heck don't want to do that. Um, all right, so let's see. So what we're doing is he has, if we go here, so he just grabbed, I don't not sure which one I think it's impairing critical. It might have been, so cleave is, I'm pretty sure he already has. Let's take a look at the combat tracker. All right, he does have cleave. Furious Assault. Furious Assault is the one that he did. All right, so, but he also has Impairing Critical. So those are the three: Cleave, Impairing Critical, and Furious Assault are the three talents he has. Great Weapon Master is an actual D&D feat. All right, so what we're doing is we are looking at these. All right, so let's start with Furious Assault. Choose a creature that dealt damage to you or an ally once per turn. When you hit that creature with a melee attack, you can deal an extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus plus your strength mod. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long rest. When you hit that creature with a melee attack, alright, so it's going to be similar to sneak attack, in that before he rolls damage, he's going to add this mod to his roll. So there's a couple different ways. If you don't want to go through all the coding issues that I'm going to go through today, you can just simply add it down in the bottom left, down here in the modifier. So in his case, because he's level 9, his proficiency mod is 4. His strength mod is 4. So he's going to do an extra 8 damage. So very easily just add plus 8. All there is to it. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to go ahead and... Alright, so this is going to be under... So he has potions and items. He has half-orc, fighter, barbarian, and actions. So where do we want to put this? Barbarian already has a bunch of stuff. So I have impairing critical already there. Okay. Oh, all right. So you can see I already did the impairing critical, so that's already been done. Didn't realize that was a fact. Okay, cool. So this is all right. So this one I am going to save as a spell. So let's see, do I have talent in here at all? No. Let's try character. No. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to change this to talent. And then all you do to add a new spell, to make it a spell, if I was going to put it somewhere, let's see. I don't think I'm going to make a new place for it. I think I'm just going to yeah, I'll just put it in a new uncategorized in a new one. So then you click, you drag it over here, boom, and it's there. Shoot, I don't know why I didn't name it like I wanted it to. Okay. At some point, I will need to add the other two, slashing and piercing, but for now, this is good. And then it does say exactly what it does. Perfect. Just slashing. Good. Okay. Slashing. I'm going to rename it to slashing. There you go. So we've got it there. So now anybody else who gets that talent, I can just drag it into their character sheet and they have it. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We don't have to worry about him for the Furious Assault. So this one is actually a little easier. So now we know where to put it. And we're going to make a new one. This is going to be called Furious Assault. Again, you just drag it down where you want it to go. We will kill this one. All right, I do apologize. That is not normally when I get interrupted by family and things. It's usually pretty quick. They're usually very respectful, and so I apologize that took so long. However, as much as I love you guys and as much as I love this content, helping people out, learning Fantasy Grounds and D&D, my family does come first. So if I need to take a moment and deal with an issue, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'll try to keep it brief as much as I can. And if I have to, I'll stop streaming and then we'll cover these issues on another time. So speaking of covering issues, come see me live. And one of the biggest reasons why you can that's helpful is you can ask questions, and I'll be glad to shift gears and show you how to code things, how to find things, how to do things in the Combat Tracker Starfinder. It's very tricky. They've done a lot to make it better, but Starfinder and Fantasy Grounds is amazing. So if you have questions about Starfinder, join me on Wednesdays at 10:30. All right, so Furious Assault. So this is just going to be like the sneak attack, and so we will just grab sneak attack. I'm in the uncategorized group, that's why nothing is coming up. So I'm going to go and drag this over to the fighter area. I'm going to go back to uncategorized because I'm going to put this in there. All right. So we're actually just going to change this to this. Talent Furious Assault. We then need to go in and change this button, edit list, lets you subtract and delete things. I lost my Star Trooper, so give me just a second. Let me put him back up. Gotta have my. All right, so my Scout Trooper's back. Yay. Anyway, Furious Assault. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Hello. Okay, so anyway, edit list allows you to subtract and delete things. When you don't need it anymore, click on it, and then you can interact with the things that are here. So this one, it is not a class. This is the school is a character talent. And so we're going to go all the way down here, get rid of that. We will then add this in here, Control C. Boom, there it is. All right, so you cannot use it again to a short or long rest. So that is important, very important. So we will switch that now. You go to preparation mode, and it is rest. So you click on where it says daily. It is now rest. We go back to standard. And so instead of, now we open up the coding for it. So in this coding, you want damage, and the damage is going to be a set amount. All right, so we're just going to have a set amount of damage, which in his case is going to be his proficiency mod and his con mod. There might be a way to put those modifiers in there as proficiency mod and con mod. If we made it where it wasn't an effect, or where it was just straight damage, I know you can do that, but with this one, it's just easier just to change it the way it is, leave it the way it is. So anyway, this is a talent. No, this is what's it called? Furious Assault. So I like having the name of what it is, so that in the combat tracker and when on the chat, when you see all this damage or you see this effect, you understand where it's from. So instead of just having, for example, if you see over here, tremor sense 40 feet, why in the world would a halfling have tremor sense? What's going on? Oh, it's earplugs of the Boule. That's how she got her tremor sense. So it explains exactly where it's coming from. So that's why I put this here. The damage is just going to be a flat 8 on himself for his next roll. So there you go. And if you're curious, you do the, hold on a second. It should say, oh, so I put rest, but I didn't put 1. Okay. Now we go back to standard. And we come down here. All right, so now it's clicked off. So this one that I made is actually just extra. So we get rid of that. So we have Talent Furious Assault Fighter. This is just here. And so what we're going to do is I'll show you this too. So because this is going to be different for every fighter, once we drag it over here, let's go ahead and add this here. Boom. We open it up and we're going to say, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I want to make it so that you have to put that number in. So you do that by, I'm just going to throw it over here under actions real quick so I know which is which. So here, now we edit it to say edit damage. Edit prof mod. So now the next person I drag this onto, so I can go ahead and delete this guy. This is what will show up, and I'll know to go in and edit it. And then I get rid of this one. There we go. Okay. Furious Assault, parrying, critical, slashing. Okay. So let's see this in action. They are not in combat. So we will add a critter. We will add an yeah, if you're reading through this and seeing a lot of these names and stuff, you may not recognize most of these names. So as I said, I don't use a lot of the normal ones. All right, so let's go with an Akata. If anybody who has played Starfinder probably knows what an Akata is. Anyway, here's a creature. So Tusk wants to hit it. Boom. That is a hit. He then clicks this, it adds it to himself. Instead of doing 2d6 plus 4, he does 2d6 plus 12. And it says damage, Silver Greatsword, effects, plus 8. And it has effect, Furious Assault, damage 8 to Tusk, and then it expired because he used it. And it is no longer there. Damage 18. So if he slashes it again, he's just doing the plus 4. Alright, and then he will click it off, say that he's used it. Excellent. Okay, we will heal the Akata. I know I would be wondering what the heck that is. So these are creatures that live in space. They don't have to, obviously. You can use them in D&D. And they're about 3.5 feet tall. They're about the size of a large dog, like a Great Dane. And this one says it looks like a hairless blue lion. They can hibernate. They sort of form this shell around themselves, almost like a chrysalis, and then they can just stay in there pretty much indefinitely. And then once that cocoon is broken, then they come out, or is exposed to heat. If it's broken, exposed to heat, or sometimes even creatures coming within so many feet of it, sometimes will trigger it. They are vulnerable to salt water, which I thought was really cool. They don't need to breathe because they live in space. They're immune to disease, and they also have, anytime they bite you, it is possible that they will then implant their young in you through their saliva, because they have these tiny, tiny little um, small larval young, and they will eventually eat their way out of the creature. And also they can attack you with the tentacles on their head and their tail. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I like it a lot. This is a CR, just a challenge 1, but they're pretty tough and have lots of cool stuff that they do. Only armor class 14, though they're pretty easy to hit. They only have 48. There is a Akata Alpha. And by the way, this is something you're interested in. It may seem like I'm self-grandizing, but hey, it is what it is. This is from the Alien Bestiary. So I've used a lot of monsters from the Alien Bestiary in my D&D campaign. And the reason I have it is because I'm the one that got it ready for Fantasy Grounds. So there's more than 300 monsters, lots of dragons, giants, undead, elementals. So a lot of different creatures, plants, and things that already exist in D&D that you can easily put into your D&D game. Even though it is an alien bestiary, it has Cthulhu. So if you've ever wanted to know what Cthulhu's stats are, Cthulhu is statted out in that. It's in the Fantasy Grounds store, the alien bestiary. Anyway, getting back to what we were doing. So that's done. Cross that off my list. Tusk's new talent. I also have another character who got a new talent. I don't know if she actually picked it. Let's see if she put it in her abilities. She had Gallant Hero, Natural Diplomat. Lucky and Observant are the feats, so I don't see that she picked a new talent. So while I'm thinking about it real quick, I'm just going to text that player so to see if she picked one or if she wants to jump on at any point. She's working right now, so probably won't answer, but if I don't do it now, I won't remember. Let's see. So I'm asking her if she picked a talent. All right. So we can't fix that. I don't think she would have dropped it here. Yeah, this is the lucky feat. I also like to explain what happens. So, did she get a feat? Did she improve any of her abilities when she got her level 8? This is, she got that. I didn't realize she had the Observant feat. Passive Perception and Passive Investigation goes up by 5. I did not realize that she had that. So her Perception is 19. No, is plus 5. So it's 14, 24. And her investigation should be the same. No, investigation is 22. All right, I have to remember that. Yep, 24 perception. Good. All right, was that in there already? Interesting. Very cool. Okay. So she's taken care of. All right, so all we have left then is the Chag Beetle and the wine. So you're more likely to need to make items for people. So let's do that instead of the Chag Beetle, because that's going to be very only specific to if you have this extension. So I would definitely highly suggest if you have a druid who shape changes, get this extension. It is so much easier than any of the other ways I've done it. If you don't have the extension, I've found the easiest thing is to pull up the NPC so she changes into a wolf or a dire wolf. You pull up the NPC, you then drag it into the combat tracker, change its status to friendly. You would then change the status of her character to something like a non-friendly or faction. Hide her character. Take the dire wolf that is now friendly. You can then share, click this and drop it onto a portrait up here, which will then allow her to have access to this. Once it's friendly, she can then manipulate the token. What I don't believe she will be able to pass the turn, and she may not be able to target her enemy. But other than that, she should then be able to manipulate the character sheet to attack, make saves. But you just then also have to think, because when they shape change, only some of their characteristics change as well. So her intelligence stays the same, if I'm not mistaken. Wisdom stays the same, but her strength, dex, con, those all change to the creature. The other two don't. Um, so you just have to remember what her actual stats are for those things. If she's, you can even make a whole new one. Click and drag this down a little bit. That makes a copy, and you can call that, my druid's direwolf, and then change the stats, the intelligence, wisdom, things like that, whatever stays the same on this sheet to what your character, your druids are, and then when you drag it over, that'll be correct. Um, it does sound like a little bit of work, but it's not insane, and once it's done, you'll then have it. The character, the player, can then also, once you've shared this with them, they can then click and drag this down to a hotbar, holding Shift or Control or Alt or any combination thereof to get any of the 7 hotbars you have access to, and so she can have all of her stats. That way, you don't have to share that with her every time. Anyway, so that's there. That's the other way to do it if you're not going to use the extension. But I'm not going to mess with the extension yet. So let's do these items first, and then we'll go back to the extension wine. So we have a skin of wine, empty bottle. So this is one I made also. Oh, no, it's not. Let's see. Did I not ask? That's interesting. So let me go to Cromwell, because he has a bottle of wine that I made already in his inventory. That's very expensive. Red Dragon Crush. Oh, it's not showing up as wine because it's not called wine. It's called Crush. There we go. That's why. So I'm going to change this to Red Dragon Crush wine. So it'll show up as wine. Red Dragon Crush wine. All right, so this should have all the details it does. So all I'm going to do is just drag this down. So if you have something that's similar to the item you want to make, this is an easy way to make it. Drag it down, it makes a copy. Keep in mind, whatever group you're in is where it will make that item. So if I was in, this is items. So if I was in, say, Book of Dragons, and I copied that item onto here, it would show up in the Book of Dragons. And then later on, like, where the heck did it go? So either put it in all, which will then automatically throw it on categorized, or put it in the one you want. So we open this up and we say it is instead okay, I forget the name of the place, Borley Wine, I think it was. So I go to my handy dandy calendar, which I love because it gives me this. Yep, Borlo. The notes. Yep. So Borlo wine. So this I've got a 10 gold piece and a 20 gold piece. So I'm going to say I know nothing of wine at all. So do I want to go through a Google search to find some kind of designation and stuff. I think I'm just going to call it, I'm going to go on, I like this style here. It says wine bottle bearing a pretty label that says the Wizards of Wines Winery. So I'm going to say the Berlo Winery. So I'm not going to have the, I'm just going to have Berlo Winery. And then I have the year here. So we're going to say it is the year 974. So we're going to say it is a all right, so I need to come up with a name of the wine. The other one was Red Dragon Crush. This is going to be a mellow fruit. There you go, close enough. Mellow fruit, and it is from, I'm going to say it's 10 years old, 964. And so this is not that rare. It's actually, I'm going to leave it as rare simply because this is the only winery. The Berlo Winery is the only one around. And the cost was 10. They bought it directly at the winery, so I'm going to add half the value. So I'm going to say it's worth 15 gold. I'm going to say, put this as mellow fruit wine. Just smooth. Dark. Fruit flavored wine. All right, and so that we're moving this over, we're going to put wine just because. And who bought it? Let's see. The person that bought it, his name was Luthien. So we're going to bring up Luthien. That is my aforementioned druid I was talking about. So, boom. Stick that over in here. And where's the mellow fruit wine bottle? And we're going to make this. It doesn't have a weight. What? What? That's crazy. Why does it not have a weight? I'm going to say it's 1 pound. I could be wrong. Might be probably more than that, but I don't know. And this is identified. Yes, there we go. Okay, and so now, since this is already done, we're going to make it 1. That means that Red Crush wine doesn't have a weight either. It's like, what in the world's going on? So now, since this is, I'm just going to copy this one because it's going to be a lot easier. Because the only thing we're doing is changing the name. Um, this is a 20-year-old wine. I mean, 54. And so this one's going to be called, let's see, how about Phase Fire. And shall we change the name of this one to Phase Fire Wine? It is a Smoth. Really? Boo. I did not catch that before. Oh, hey, Caesar's here. I don't know if you're still around, but hello, I did not see you when you chatted, so hopefully it doesn't tell me how long ago it was either, so. Hey, if you have any questions, or if you want me to open up or anything or do anything, feel free to let me know. That's awesome. You are officially my first live viewer. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. You will now forever hold a special place as my first official person who chatted with me during my stream. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I don't see anything on OBS that tells me you're there. So cool. I'll have to look at that and see if I can. Users in chat. Oh, I have a lurks. I think that's probably a ghost. All right, so there is something that tells me people are here. Nice. Well, cool, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Working from home today. Yeah, I hear you. In your chat settings, you can set it up to show the times of your posts. Okay, cool. Let me check that out real quick. Show mod icons. Show timestamp. There it is. Bam. Haha. 11:34. Oh, cool. So I saw it right away. Excellent. Yeah, I have it set up on 2 different streams. Oh, come on. I don't want that. There we go. Stop it. So I have my OBS screen is separate than my Fantasy Ground screen. So I'm glad I saw you when you came in. Now you can see how long people posted. Yep. Excellent. So yeah, because your first one was at I was 11:27. So it was about 7 minutes. Cool. Well, good. Great to see you, man. Yeah, if you have any questions on what I'm doing on this is all homebrew, and I use a lot of different obscure manuscripts to pull up my monsters and things because I have some veteran players who know monsters backwards and forwards as DMs and things. So just making some. They came upon a winery last week, so just making up the wine for them. So let's see. This is getting back to what we were doing. This is Phase Fire Wine. OBS another my running stream on a laptop because usually watching a stream on the big monitor. Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Yeah, so I'll be here every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm doing Starfinder. Don't know if you have any interest in that, but you're welcome to take a look at that. All right, so we're going to make sure this is identified. Oh, I got to change the name down here. So this one, instead of being a dark wine, it's called Phase Fire. It's going to be like an amber. Again, I know nothing about wine, so if I'm saying things that are wrong, that might be the case, but this is going to be like a pink rosé amber. I'm not sure what they're called, but I'm going to say pink, a clear pink. Spicy. Maybe it threw some Tabasco in there or something. And fruity wine. All right, and this one is worth 25 gold. Actually, it's going to be worth 30 gold. And this one was purchased by Genesis, our cleric bard. So we'll throw that in our inventory. Need to go into here because I realized I had made a typo. There's a typo in here. And I have to back up to Luthien and fix her bottle of wine. Just the way I am. I cannot have a typo. There we go. Smooth, dark, fruit flavored wine. Okay. All right. So there we go. We have earlier in the stream, we did the coding for the new talent. We did the clockwork amulet coding as well. We now made these 2 magic items. So last thing I wanted to do today before I wrap it up is I'm going to do the coding for the Chag Beetle, a new wild form that my druid player will be able to transform into as soon as she gets another 1,000 experience, which will be probably this week. So as soon as she turns level 9, she'll be able to transform into this level 3 Chag Beetle. And so let me open him up. So what I'm going to do, the way to do that, so anybody else, so if you're not using the critically essential extension, critically awesome essentials extension, as I said before, if you have a druid, definitely worth looking into. Maybe ask them to pay for half and you pay for half, but it's so much, it makes life so much easier. But if you're not interested in that, or you don't have it, then make sure you subscribe, follow if you're not already, and I'll catch you next time. But that's what we're going to be doing right now. So let's take a look at the Chag Beetle. Pull up the NPC sheet. So I have the regular beetle, the cow, and the juvenile. These are the CR5s. The juvenile Chag Beetle is actually a 4, but I'm going to sort of wussy it down a little bit, make it a 3 since it's a juvenile. And I know you're dying to see what these things look like. There you go. So they have a mottled carapace that makes it to where any creature close to it has to make a saving throw or be blinded because of the sun shining off it if they're out in the bright light. They have these wicked horns. I'm not sure that the artist did them justice, but the horns have a gore attack, and at the start of a creature's turn, they bleed. They inflict a bleed condition on their target. So uh, pretty tough little guys, and by little I mean size of a Volkswagen when they're fully grown. So I think it'll be cool to give her a neat and unique form. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do what I did before with the wine and with the coating. Take something that's already there and just adjust it. Um, and that cuts down on the number of mistakes I make. So wild shape is what we're looking for. This is under spells again. So right now, so I can go to all if I wanted to and just type in wild shape. There you go. Or in my case, you can also go to the actual Critically Essentials module. Nope. Where'd it go? Druid Wild Shapes. So since I'm going to making a new one anyway, I want to make it in this subsection. So we're going to go here. This has a charge attack, trampling charge, and it's very large like a rhino. So I think I'm going to go with my base being a rhino. It's a CR2 anyway, so it's only going to be bumping it up by 1. So let's go here. I'm going to look at the CR3s real quick to see if there's anything that would fit better. I don't see anything. Lots. Wow, it looks like most of these are. I don't know what a chak is. That's a dinosaur. I don't know what a king toba is. It's the male version of a queen toba. And then a bunch of swimming creatures. All right, so I still think my rhinoceros is going to be my best bet. So let's go back to the rhino. And again, you just click and drag it to make a copy. You'll notice one has a book, one doesn't. So the one without the book is the copy. Open this up. We're going to change it to CR3 Chag Beetle. And because it's over here, I have searching for a rhino. Once I click away from that, it's going to go away. So let's go back to our CR3s. There it is, Jag Beetle. All right, so this is a level 3. Rest of this stuff is the same. So let's go ahead and move this over. Open this up so I can see what the heck's going on. All right, so we now just do some comparison to try to figure out what's what. Let's see here. It is a Chag Beetle, and it's actually going to be a juvenile Chag Beetle. Yeah, so the Chag Beetle should be, if I remember right, it's from the Alien Bestiary. It is. And it just had the Chag Beetle. But since I wanted them to come upon a herd of these things, I went ahead and made the Chag Beetle cow and the juvenile Chag Beetle by lowering some of their stats and some of their attacks and stuff like that. So when it asks where it came from, we're going to say Alien Bestiary. It is a CR3. Hit points will be 50. Armor class 15. So it's nice because we have a template to go by. This thing is already large, yep. Now, I actually have the juveniles as a medium creature. So I'm going to keep it as a medium creature. Let's see. So this is one attack. He does have, yeah, it does have multiple attacks. So I'm not sure exactly what to do with that, but we'll look up the bear wild shape because actually the giant scorpion, since we're here, should have multiple attacks. Let's see. He does. Okay. So we're going to open up this just so we have an idea of what's going on. So 3 attacks. Okay, so this is the same thing. He also he has 2 attacks. So this will be 2 attacks. And the juvenile is a +6 to hit. Strength. Widen that up a little bit. Especially as a DM, I have windows open. As you can see, tons and tons of windows. Here, we'll move this over a little bit so you guys can see what we're working on. What is this? The token? Oh, that's the actual link. Okay, good. So I'll do that in a minute. Strength. 16. Dex 14. Con is also 14. Type. He is a medium land animal. I'm not sure why it has land animal. What that means. It is a land animal, so I guess I'll just leave it the way it is. His speed is 40 feet also. It has a charge. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Multi-attack, grappler, poisonous, blind sight. Just spelled wrong. Let me fix that. Passive perception 9. Okay, so these are all different things listed on the giant scorpion traits. Senses and things. Okay. So he has a gore trampling charge. Trampling charge. He has multi-attack also. So put them in alphabetical order, because I'm not sure if it matters. And what I plan on doing, since I know the person who made this whole extension, I'm going to send him a copy of this Chag Beetle when I'm done and say, hey, just double look at this, see if it works. I'm also going to open it, apply it to the character and make sure it works as well. Multi-attack. putting them in alphabetical order. We will then put since I don't want to type out iridescent. Alright, he has iridescent carapace, trampling charge, he has a regular attack and a slam attack. He does have blind sight, 60 feet, so we'll put, so blind sight should actually be first. It's all one word. His is also 60 feet. Oh, he has that under senses, so that's later, sorry. So, delete. His passive perception is 15. Alright, so that is everything for him then, if I'm not mistaken. So he has iridescent carapace, multi-attack, trampling charge, blind sight, passive perception. Okay. So looking at the giant scorpion, I don't see where the damage is and stuff. So it does an additional 2d8. That opens up the rhino. Okay. Alright, anyways, this finishes this iridescent charge. Oh, it's not iridescent. A trampling charge. That's what it was. Trampling charge. Move 20 feet, straight line. Succeed in gore attacks, same thing. Does not do any damage, but we will copy and paste this. Can make an additional slam attack. Slam attack. Target must succeed in DC strength saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the beetle can make one slam attack against it as a bonus action. Okay. Now, so I found the easiest way to do this is to make it Control 1, makes it regular text. And then click and drag. Boof. All right. And so now she has access to this. Oh, it's already open. So, there we go. All right, so the giant scorpion has several things here. So let's open up this one. We will copy and paste this. Multi-attack. So the multi-attack makes 2 attacks. with its gore and one with its slam. So what it's doing is it's using its horns as a gore attack, and then its feet as the slam attack. So the Scorpion has these here. See, but again, there are no damage. There's no damage or anything here, so. So I'm just going to put this here, put the extra text that he wrote. This is called the gore, so we'll Control U, B. The slam attack is just normal, so we don't need to put any details about that. Alright, so it looks like we're done with this guy. Close her on up. So we're going to go ahead and add. Let's So we're going to go ahead and add both of these creatures, the Scorpion and the Shag Beetle, to my player. Just going to minimize this. Giant Scorpion. Where did the Giant Scorpion go? Giant Scorpion, okay. Okay, so I may have to add effects as well. Let's see. This is CR3. Now we're going to add the Shag Beetle. I don't. All right, so it looks like it pulls it from the creature. So, yes. That's impressive. Okay, so gore attack, prones. Oh, this is from the Rhino. Okay, so no, I was wrong. All right, so yeah, so these are all the Rhino attacks. So what we're going to do is we will just okay, so what he did was he did create all right, so I know what to do now. So we've got this effect correct, except for the all right, so what we just did then, all the stuff that we just typed, is what shows. Let's see. Okay. That's what shows up. That's just the explanation here under the spells. So now what I have to do is I just have to go back through, change these on the actions page, change all these, and then what will happen is when I fix the attacks and the effects, I can then drag this check wheel over to the spells, and it will update all that information for me and save it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream. We've been here an hour and a half. Caesar, thank you so much for stopping by. And let's see if you're. I can now see if you're still with me. Now that I know how to do that. Yeah, so you're there. So what the hell? Keep messing that up. All right. All right. So again, thank you so much, Caesar, for stopping by. I appreciate it. It was very cool. Very cool having somebody there. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Probably later, sometime later today. I'm not really going to go into it's probably going to take me another half an hour to knock out and put all the Chag Beetle's attacks and effects as spell effects, which is what you need to do in order to make this work. The other thing I need to do I don't know how to do, so I don't want to sit there and broadcast silence as I'm doing the research, is figuring out the token for the Chag Beetle. I have one. It's just a matter of making sure I assign the right token to it. Because it's new, I know that you go here in her actions. Notes down here. And you can, so if I wanted her wild shape, and then I put the name of the wild shape here, drag the token over here. I don't know if that's, so for example, if I was taking the bear wild shape that already exists and making a new token for it, then this is where you do it. You put the name of the actual wild shape, in that case the brown bear, drag the new token on there. So then going forward, anytime she changes into that brown bear, it will use the new token. But since I'm going in and actually creating this wild shape, I just need to do the research to see how I assign a particular token to that new wild shape, if it's the same thing or if it's something else that I have to do here. So thank you again for stopping by. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you follow me. Come join me on Tuesdays at 10:30 for a little bit more 5e prep as DM. And thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thanks, Caesar. Have a good one.